para la bancarta, ¿alguien puede ponerse aquí? Someone hold this up. Okay, perfect. Y a lo mejor de la bancarta más un poco más arriba porque no lo podemos ver. Can we place the big bears? These are so far. I can put this on it. Oh, fine. And then, we need an equitable budget now. It's also critical that the legislature and Governor Hochul pass the Access to Representation Act in this year's budget. This landmark piece of legislation would make New York the first in the nation to guarantee access to legal counsel for people facing deportation. Right now, many immigrants are forced to defend themselves alone against trained government lawyers. This often results in people being cruelly ripped from their families and communities simply because they can't afford a private attorney. And that is not justice, and it's not right. The Access to Representation Act would make New York State a leader in ensuring that all New Yorkers can access due process. This year's budget must deliver justice for our communities. We cannot wait any longer. So please join me in welcoming Jose del Carmen, who is an activist and a member of Queer Detainee Empowerment Project.
Soy José del Carmen Mota Raiz, tengo 25 años de edad y soy del país Venezuela. Hoy vengo a contarles un poco acerca de mi historia. Salí de mi país por persecución política, por discriminación. En el año 2017 atentaron contra mi vida y mi libertad. Inmediatamente tomé la decisión al verme tan presionado de salir de mi país y venir a los Estados Unidos en busca de protección internacional y asilo. Una vez llegué, he estado movilizándome en el mes de marzo, ingresé y estoy en la ciudad de Nueva York y me he estado movilizando para obtener una orientación legal gratuita, una representación legal gratuita, lo cual ha sido prácticamente imposible. He estado buscando también a través de organizaciones que me puedan brindar el apoyo para tener acceso a esa representación legal, acceso a esa orientación legal, y ha sido prácticamente imposible. Me he estado encaminando por diferentes medios y hemos enfrentado muchas barreras. Una de ellas es el idioma, porque muchas organizaciones y abogados no hablan español. Entonces hoy luchamos y alzamos la voz por eso, por ese acceso a la representación y a la orientación legal gratuita que creo que todos los migrantes debemos merecer. ¿Sí? Muchísimas gracias.
Eso es así. Hello, good afternoon everyone. My name is Jose del Carmen Mota Arraiz. I am a queer Chiqui. I am 25 years old and I am from the country of Venezuela. Today I came to tell you a little bit about my history and my legal process here in the United States. I left my country, Venezuela, due to discrimination and political persecution. In 2017, an attempt was made against my life and freedom. I made the difficult decision to leave Venezuela and go to the United States in search of international protection through asylum. I arrived this past March in New York City, and immediately upon arriving, I looked for the way to start my entire legal process. I mainly sought pro bono legal guidance since I do not have the financial resources or the possibility of working. It has been practically impossible to find a lawyer to guide me. I began to investigate different organizations that could provide support with free legal advice to be able to get on my way and carry out a successful legal process in this country, but it has been impossible for me. And as a migrant member of the LGBTQ+ community, one encounters many barriers. One of the main barriers is language. Since many lawyers and organizations do not speak Spanish, communication and access to representation is very difficult. And as a result of that, I have tried 1,001 ways to find access to free legal guidance, to know which route I should follow, and guarantee that I'm on the best path, since as a migrant, I want to do things the best way I can. But we need someone to guide us legally and tell us how we can start our legal asylum process without problems in the United States. For this and many reasons, we fight today for access to quality legal guidance and representation for migrants seeking international protection and asylum. Thank you. Thank you, Jose del Carmen. Next up is Pascual Domingo, member of the Worker Center of Central New York.
Para todos y todas, muy buenas tardes. Gracias la oportunidad que me dan de representar en este momento. Mi nombre es Pascual Pablo Domingo, soy guatemalteco y soy un padre de familia con 7 hijos.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pablo Pascual Domingo. I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to be here. I'd like to introduce myself, and I am a father of 7 children.
Vine aquí en este país como inmigrantes, en este país entregar la migración como un hijo menor. Gracias por estar aquí, me recibieron y entonces estoy muy contento para estar en este país.
When I came here, I turned myself into immigration together with my minor son. And I was able to come here, and they received me, and that's why I'm here today.
Desde entonces me vine directo aquí en Dunker, Nueva York, donde yo empecé a trabajar. Los primeros 2 semanas empecé a trabajar, como llegué en el tiempo de invierno, en el tiempo de nieve, en el tiempo donde es cambio de clima. Uno no está adaptado con el clima, pero tuve que trabajar, tuve que adaptar en el trabajo que es poda de uva, y en eso también me di cuenta. En el trabajo empezaron el abuso de robar las horas de trabajo, y también me roban el tiempo del horario, el pago del horario, que cuando empecé a trabajar en la uva.
So since I arrived in Dunkirk, New York, the first 2 weeks it was winter. It was snowing and bad weather. I had to start adjusting to this climate, which I didn't know before. And I started working very hard in the grapes and tending to the vineyards. It was that time when I first was abused and suffered discrimination in my job. They started stealing from my check and also not paying me for the amount of hours that I worked.
Después de trabajar, entonces entré en una compañía donde trabajan en flores, sembrar flores, donde se siembra repollo, lechuga, tomate y chile y cebolla, un sinfín los que se siembran en ese producto, donde yo me di cuenta que los patrones nos discriminan, nos hacen apurado en el trabajo y muchos aguantan, muchos no aguantan trabajar y se van o lo despiden porque no rinden su trabajo, pero yo tuve que hacerme el esfuerzo para trabajar en ese tiempo.
So then after working the grapes, I started to work in a company that has flowers, but we also harvested tomatoes, cabbage, lettuce, all of the different fruits and vegetables. And that's where I also realized the discrimination that we faced. We were hurried up when we worked. We, put our heads down and faced a lot of discrimination. A lot of my coworkers were fired or they were pushed out because they didn't work hard enough. I put my head down and kept working and facing this discrimination.
Después de todo en el trabajo me di cuenta que todas los que trabajamos nos discriminan de una forma en gritar mucho, en humillar en el trabajo. Entonces si uno está enfermo, sigue trabajando. En ese tiempo yo me enfermé en el trabajo y me fui al doctor. Estuve una semana, pedí una semana por estar enfermo y en ese momento me despiden en el trabajo.
So after receiving a lot of discrimination, you would get yelled at, humiliated. A lot of people receive retaliation for getting sick. One day when I got sick, I went to the doctor and I had to be out for a week. But while I was out sick, I got fired.
Yo lo que pido a todos los legisladores, a la gobernadora, a todos que tengamos derecho en el acceso de los como trabajadores. Y yo lo que pido como trabajador inmigrante manifiesto para todos. Gracias que también yo busqué el derecho para tener un abogado y gracias que también tuve la oportunidad de buscar un abogado, pero yo veo muchos de nosotros a veces no queremos reclamar el derecho y sí, de verdad tenemos derecho. Entonces lo que yo pido a todos es que tengamos esta oportunidad de reclamar nuestro derecho, que nos reconocen como inmigrantes, trabajadores de este estado Nueva York.
So what I'm asking the legislators here today, the governor, is that we are actually able to realize that right as workers here, as immigrant workers here. I was lucky enough to be able to find an attorney and exercise my rights, but I see many of my fellow people here today that are not able to realize that right to having an attorney. So what I'm asking here today is that we make it a reality that everyone has the right to an attorney and that we are recognized as immigrant workers here in this state.
Esto ha sido mi representación. ¿Qué queremos todos?
¡Acceso a la representación!
¿Qué queremos?
¡Acceso a la representación!
Y gracias.
Thank you, Pascual Domingo. Next, we have Hussein Adams, Executive Director of the American Civic Association of Binghamton.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Hussein Adams. I'm grateful and honored to speak to you today, addressing and emphasizing the importance and the significance of passing the Access to Representation Act. With immigration courts facing a backlog of almost 200,000 cases in New York State and an already severe shortage of immigration attorneys, affordable access to representation is paramount as we witness an influx of migrants searching for some form of safety, some form of relief. As the Executive Director and CEO of the American Civic Association in Binghamton, a nonprofit organization that has been established and successfully operating since 1939, we are proud to boast of the plethora of services that we offer, helping immigrants and refugee families that arrive from all parts of the world and settle here in New York State and throughout this great country. I've experienced firsthand the challenges and difficulty immigrants face navigating through a legal system that is foreign and complex. As New Yorkers, we are leaders in humanitarian efforts. We are resilient in finding solutions to help others in need. And today, we want to amplify our voices, urging Governor Hochul and lawmakers to support the establishment of a right to counsel for immigrants and their families, confronted with the new compounded trauma faced in immigration court proceedings. The passing of this first-in-the-nation bill is critical, it's crucial, and it will be monumental and affords due process and the right to counsel for immigrants and new Americans facing deportation, and that cannot afford attorney fees for legal representation. The ARA would help secure legal assistance to the massive numbers of immigrant families that are living in fear of being deported back to a country they fled due to persecution, due to gangs and violence, due to wars and disasters that call and demand for humanitarian relief. Finally, this will further promote economic stability, it will promote safety, it will promote prosperity and longevity within our communities across New York State. Today, we are optimistic. Tomorrow, we look forward to the passing of this bill, $120 million of legal services that will help end the crisis we face in representation, and which essentially supports the long, historic fight, as we know, against anti-immigrant policies and human injustices. Thank you all.
Thank you, Hussein. Next up, we have Assemblymember Raga.
Thank you. I'm Assemblymember Steve Raga, happy to be here back in Albany, making sure that in this budget, that we make sure that all our families in New York have the access to representation that we need, and that during this time, the budget's been delayed for a bit now, we know that, we're all feeling it, that, boo, that's right, boo, boo, This is an equal conversation. This is nothing we're supposed to be still discussing now, and that we know that together we have our other colleagues in government, like Assemblymember De Los Santos here, that are strong advocates in making sure that our immigrant community, not just in New York City, but across New York State, that has those resources to keep families together, to make sure that they already contribute to the fabric of New York, that they have the resources they need to make sure that they can continue to give to our great state. So here in the last moments, we doubled down and we let the governor know that we have a strong coalition. We have advocates throughout the state. We have elected officials throughout the state. We know that we are here and that we speak for hundreds and thousands more across the state, and we need access to representation in this budget.
Thank you, Assemblymember Raga. Now we will hear from Assemblymember Manny De Los Santos.
What do we want?
Access to representation!
What do we need?
Access to representation!
I am so proud to be here joining you today, and it shows your true commitment to what's right. And I cannot wait to have this allocation become a reality. But we have to send a message
loud and clear. I left conference to join you here. This is how critical and important it is access to representation. If New York State is really serious about representing immigrants and making sure that immigrants are well represented, then we have to do what's right. And doing what's right is providing access to representation. It's making sure that immigrants are protected. It's making sure that our families and children are protected. It's making sure that we all protected, no matter who you are, where you come from. 67%, and I'll say that number again, 67% of people who go through the court winning their cases versus 17% who do not have access to representation. So when we talk about equity, when we talk about fairness, when we talk about respect, because this is about respect. This is about respect. I stand here to say, as Martin Luther King said one time, that it's never too late to do what's right. Let's do what's right. Let's do what's right. Let's protect immigrants. New York State is the state of immigrants. We made this state what it is. We run this state. Let's send a message to the governor that we're not giving up until we see the allocation assigned to access to representation. Let's not give up. Let's continue the good fight. And thank you for all your work and your effective advocacy in making sure that we do not get neglected and get left behind. Thank you.
That everyone continues to put immigrant families first and champion us and include that $120 million in the budget and pass the Access to Representation Act. Our leaders have seen today how critical the Access to Representation Act and legal and essential services funding is to our immigrant communities across New York. Thank you to all our champions who couldn't be here. It's now time to push this across the finish line because we can't wait any longer for justice in this year's budget. Thank you, everyone. What do we do? Stand up and fight! What do we do? Stand up and fight! We're ready to fight for under attack! What do we do? Stand up and fight! Let's take an official photo. Flavia, can you take a photo? Everybody.
Yeah, you can.
Where are we looking at? Front?
Acceso a la